Hey, everybody, welcome back to Conversations in Ken's Cafe. I'm your host, Ken Somerville, and we got special guests today. Susan and Jerry Butler of Butler Family Farms has joined us today. I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for coming, guys. You guys have been sharing and, teaching people for quite a while now, and I want to bring you to my audience. So, since my audience really doesn't know who you guys are, and I don't know as much as you guys, because you guys have lived your life, you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves, how you guys got started in this.
Well, first off, thank you for asking us to join you, and we're glad to meet your community, and we always like to diversify it out. So this is a good way of doing that. So thank you for inviting us to be on your live tonight.
You bet.
Yeah, and we've been together for 40 years now.
Yeah.
But we used to live in San Diego.
Okay.
And a friend of mine moved out here to Missouri. Well, it's probably been 45 years ago. And I came out here and I said, that's kind of nice out there. It's open. You can buy a piece of property and not have anybody sitting on top of you. In San Diego, they kept packing the houses closer and closer and closer together. And I thought, I'm done with this. I need space, because where I grew up in Simi Valley, which in California, which was a small bedroom community, but you had a little bit of land and you had space between the houses. Not a lot of land, but a little bit of land. And I raised rabbits there to put myself through high school.
Okay.
But, in San Diego, it was just, you're basically, the houses were, they were far enough apart that you could stand, and not touch them, when we were in. The newer ones, you couldn't do that. You actually could not stand between them and not touch both houses at the same time. That's how close they're putting them together. So,
what we call spitting distance,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So a friend of mine moved out here because his folks were from here, and he moved back out here with them. And he told me about it, and we came out and I looked at it. I said, well, this is kind of cool. I said, but if I move out here, I want to buy some land.
But we were also thinking about retirement.
Yeah, we were thinking about retirement down the road. And we didn't want to be in San Diego retired.
We couldn't afford that.
It just can't afford it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just too expensive.
No.
So we came out here and I started looking around, and I told him, I said, I am a hunter. I mostly do a lot. I used to do a lot of duck hunting, which I don't do as much duck hunting as I used to do. But I am, I wanted property that I could go out and deer hunt, and I did have deer hunting before. So I thought, well, if I'm going to be out here, let's, have someone we can do something with. So we were looking at stuff, and him and I are talking, and he said, well, I would like to raise horses. I said, well, then let's look for some land that we can raise some painted horses on.
Mm-hmm.
That was before the market dropped in the gutter. And so I started looking at it. He would send me these notices of what was for sale, 15 acres here type thing. And I said, no, we got to have a minimum of 75 acres, because I want to be able to do a deer hunt on the property. So he started sending me stuff, and I would drive back and forth to check out the properties. And I had bought a horse that he had left it at his house, and so we could ride the properties. And so then he said, hey, there's this 160 acres that they're for sale. He goes, it's supposed to be 80 acres of woods and 80 acres of open land. He goes, let's go check it out. I said, okay. So I drove out here, and we loaded up the horses, went to this place, and we started riding. And we're first we went to the wrong place, that was the bad part. We got to the right place. We started riding, and we kept going like, where's this open land? We'd find a half acre here, a half acre there. We all calculated that maybe there was 8 acres of open stuff. The rest of it was solid woods, and some of it was dark woods. And I mean, you got inside and the canopy, and it was almost pitch dark black. I mean, you couldn't, nothing was growing in there. There was no sunlight showing. Grapevines hanging down. I mean, like it looked
they make movies about places like that,
Yep, it reminded me of places that made like Tarzan, movies. The grapevines hanging down and stuff. It was something else. So, anyways, I found this place. We looked at this place, and I thought, well, because she wanted rolling hills, and that place had rolling hills. And I looked at this place and said, well, this is flat. And I said, I don't know if she'd be interested in it. And so that was in August, and we went home and came back out at Christmas time. And I took her to the first place, and where's all the trees were had nothing on them, so you could see a little bit inside of them.
Yeah,
She only got this to take you 20 years to be able to do anything with this. I said, yeah. So I brought her to this place, and she said, well, you can turn this around pretty darn quick. I said, well, so we made an offer on this place, and we bought it. And it was originally, supposed to, I looked at it was 90 acres. And when we came back at Christmas time, it was 70 acres plus 20 acres plus 26 acres.
Okay.
So I told the guy, I said, well, I want to buy the 90 acres. And he said, well, there's 26.6 acres attached to it. Just make me an offer on the whole thing.
Okay, that's
so
nice.
I made the offer on the whole thing, and he took it. They didn't bat an eye about it.
The thing about in Missouri is if you own 75 acres and you're a hunter, then you can get you don't pay for tags. You get all your tags free because you're going to hunt on your own property.
Right.
So that's what the 75 acre minimum came from. That was one of his criteria.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The only thing he has to pay for is the federal duck stamp.
State and federal duck stamp.
And that's it.
And I do buy my hunting license. I'm not required to have it if I hunt my own property, but I do buy my license. I want to help. I want to support the conservation the best I can, and by paying for my hunting license, that is supports them. I do got to buy upland game stamp, which is a migratory birds.
Migratory.
So duck birds. The duck hunting, I got to have duck tags and duck migratory birds, which is dove and stuff. But the deer tags, I don't have to pay for. We get and turkey tags. We don't have no turkey, but turkey tags I don't pay for. But I think I get like 7 or 8, 9 tags a year.
Free.
Nice.
Because he owns the property.
Which I don't. I haven't filled any of them yet, ever. But I get them every year. Because I do go out and I watch. I've had opportunities, but I'm not first seen, first shot. It's I mean, it's not like I have to fill the freezer because we've got beef out there and we got pig out there and chicken out there, so I don't have to fill the freezer. If I happen to see one that I feel comfortable shooting, I will, but I don't have to. Yeah. So, and we've got quite a few deer on our property. We see them. We go out there and we see them all over the place. And we got some good bucks out there. I've got it's either a 13 to 16 point buck out there that's been wandering around out there, and I've seen him several times. So it's just and I have what we call morals or standards. I won't shoot anything if it's not on my.
You're not a sports.
If it's not on my fence of property, I won't shoot it. Well, my neighbor told me, just shoot it now, because I told him about it. I saw a buck that was walking down. It was a little 10-pointer, and he said, I didn't take a shot at it. And I saw him, and I told him about it. He goes, well, why didn't you shoot it? I said, well, because it was on your side of the fence. It didn't jump over to my side. He goes, just shoot it and go get it. And I went like, okay,
So he got permission to do that.
And I wouldn't do it without permission beforehand.
Well, yeah. Well, there's the law of the West, right? You don't go on somebody else's property to do anything.
True.
That's true.
And so we've been working on this place. It's got a lot of work still to be done, but there used to be
majority of it is done.
Yeah, majority of it is done. It used to be chicken houses on the north end of the property, and the guy who I bought the property from bought a bulldozer and bulldozed it all down and made big piles of crap all over the place. And so we've been cleaning it up a little here, a little there type thing. But there's a lot of work to be done down there still. A lot of old chicken cages that are piled up, and we just pull out what we can, and when we have time to do it. But
it's all in these maps. So when it rains or it snows, it starts clearing away, and you start seeing all these pieces of metal popping up that you hadn't seen before. So we've let Mother Nature help us clean up some, but we got to still go in there and
pull it out,
pull the stuff out. And we actually put our cows down there, but not too often, because it seems like every time the herd's down there and we pull them out, somebody's got a limp, so they've stepped. So we really don't put them down there too long, and we need to get it cleaned up so we can have a better pasture down there. But
when we first bought it, we cropped it. We had soybeans, wheat, and corn here, and we got to figure out that it was more work cropping than if we rotated into cows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we
Well, that's because we didn't have the equipment.
Right.
We had to contract, and when you contract agriculture, you're contracting with a farmer already who's doing his own thing. So you have to wait. And so your crop keeps growing, or the grass keeps growing if it's hay, and you're waiting for them to come in and do that. So
yeah, so you always seem like you're always working or waiting for somebody to do something else, and when you want it done. So and I worked for the farmer across the road for about 5 years, about 5 or 6 years, ran his operation. And then I got offered a job working for the local agriculture feed company, farm store. Farm store. And it's called, here in Missouri, it's called MFA. And I had gone to, when I first moved here, I went back to college, and I had already some college courses from when I got out of the military. I went to college and had some courses like, English and that type of stuff. And so I went back to college, and I took every ag class they had except for waste management.
Okay.
And I also took alternative energy classes. So I knew about solar and wind and all that stuff. But I did that because I wanted to know what I was doing on my property. So when I did that, the store said, "Hey, why don't you come to work with us and be one of our soil specialists, and you can do spread, you get a CDL, and you can spread fertilizer and spray and all that stuff." So I went and did that for almost 9 years. I did that for 9 years. So I know about fertilizers and chemicals and spraying and spreading fertilizer.
Hazmat suits and
I mean, in fact, it's funny. I had a customer call me the other day, and I've been retired for a year and a half now. 2 years. Called me the other day and said, "Hey, can you come spread some fertilizer for me?" I said, "I'm sorry, but I retired 2 years ago." "You're kidding me." He goes, "Well, I can't get a hold of the store." I said, "Well, call the store number. If you can't get a hold of the fertilizer plant, call the store number." So he goes, "Well, I'm sorry that you left." He goes, "Who's doing it now?" And I said, "I don't know exactly who's spreading." He goes, "Well, I don't know if I want somebody else coming on here." And I will, sorry.
Yep.
So I had a lot of good customers, that I spread for and stuff. And
well, when it's hard to find somebody you can trust and know that they're going to do the job properly.
Well, he would go out, they would get orders, and he would know those places, or they'd be new customers, and he'd go out and talk to them first to see exactly what they wanted. And a lot of times he had to turn them around and educate them on, what they really needed, and his first line of, first thing he wanted them to do was soil test their ground.
Right.
And send it into the, extensions and get it.
Take this.
Go ahead.
We have 2 pumps on our property. One for us, which is really, really big, and the other one's down at the north end. And one of our boys lives down there, and we've had some issues with the pump for the last couple of weeks. Well, it stopped actually working, and so that was the pump guy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of halfway in the same situation, only my well went dry, but then it started working again, and I found I had a hose off, and it was just draining my well out, but now it's damaged my pump. So I'm waiting for somebody to come in because it's a really awkward place. Trying to get it quoted.
We had that in January on our pump, and they pulled it up and said that it had vibrated so much.
It rubbed a spot in the wire.
In the wire.
Okay,
so, it was. I think was very thankful that
it was only $25 fix.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was
nice.
So far, and this fix should be relatively easy and not very expensive.
Yeah, it's just the capacitor went out.
Yeah. That's not a bad one. Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't just change the capacitor, they change the whole box of the capacitor. So it's probably be under $200, but still, it's
it was a Friday afternoon.
Yeah,
it was before 5 o'clock.
Everything happens on Fridays. I hate Fridays. They all happen on Fridays. So everything breaks down on Friday or right after 5 o'clock on Friday. It doesn't happen on Monday. It happens on Fridays.
And one of the hard things for us to deal with, it's still to this day, even after 18 years, is that everything except Walmart, basically everything shuts down. Even in Joplin,
At 12 o'clock, noon.
on Saturday. Nobody works after 12.
And they roll the sidewalks up.
They really
Yep.
do. So if you have an issue, like, a pump thing, they'll come out, but that's an emergency call or it's a Saturday call, and it's, twice the fee. And that was really, really hard for us because we were so used to being able to go almost any place.
Oh, yeah.
in
Even at
San
9
Diego.
o'clock at night, you could run to the store to get
Uh-huh.
something,
Yeah.
in San Diego. I mean, even on a Sunday at 9 o'clock, you could go someplace to get something,
So,
Mhm.
it was a culture shock for us.
Well, and I grew up in that environment all my life. I was living 15 miles out of the closest town, and it was just like that. At 5 o'clock, the street got rolled up, everything was shut down, and everybody went home for supper, and then to church and bingo, whatever for the night.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
So but it always seems like everything around here seems like for us is it breaks down on Friday afternoon or Saturday morning, right before noon. So you're calling somebody, say, "Hey, I need this piece, and we'll set it on the dock for you, and and come in Monday to pay us or something like that." Which is that's fine, but it's like it couldn't happen on Monday afternoon when you have the whole week ahead of you. It's like and so it always seems like you're in a crunch. So, but they've got a motto. They say that if you're not using it, if nothing breaks, it's because you're not using it. That's a farmer's market motto. If you're using things that are going to break,
as well as duct tape and baling wire are your best
friends. That's right. And also true. Don't work on Sunday because you repaired it on Monday.
Yep. I agree.
That's happening.
Silly Lily says Murphy's Law.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
If it's going to happen, it always happens. Yeah. I almost say, I don't want to say this, but I'm always looking in the half empty glass. Like, I'm waiting for the next shoe to drop, especially on Fridays or Saturday morning. I'm going, okay, if I go out there,
pessimist.
Can I get
Susan, are you the opposite? Do you balance each other out? You're the optimist?
Yeah.
Well, then you got a perfect relationship.
Positive person.
I just don't like things. Yep. I mean, once I get going and everyone's going fine, I'm like, okay, we're going. But because it always breaks right when you start. It doesn't break, at the end of it or, in the middle. It breaks right at the start. So if I get going and things are going fine, I kind of, and I can keep going.
Yep.
So
I do have to say, though, that, and we've talked about it briefly every once in a while, but we've not had any, despite everything that's happened, whether it's the farm or family or whatever, we've not regretted making the move at all. And his family is a little bit more spread out than mine, but my mother lived in National City, which is part of just next door to San Diego. And I lived there 90% of my life. And I had one of my sisters there too. And my other sister and brother live up in Northern California. So I've not been that far from them, but I go back once a year to see my mom and my sisters. And that's just a deal that we made. And so I do that, but I've not once regretted. I've been very thankful for being able to have 4 seasons, to see 4 seasons. I may not like some of the seasons, but I know when it's spring, and I know when it's summer, and I know when it's fall, and I know when it's winter.
Lately, we don't know what we haven't seen a spring or fall. It's like winter and summer. It seems like
they've been running together a little bit
too close. We used to be able in November be out in t-shirt and during Thanksgiving weekend and be able to do fence work or whatever, and it's comfortable. Lately, it's either so hot that you can't be outside, you don't want to be outside, or it's snow on the ground and you got to bundle up so you walk around like a Michelin man, So lately it's been like that, but hopefully it'll change back. Weather goes with cycles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sun cycles, air cycles. It's all big cycle.
Everything, yeah. But no, we've not regretted the move at all.
I've only been back to California twice, right? 2 times. Once when Doug passed, and once before that.
Well, it's when Doug.
I only been back twice.
And you don't really miss it.
No, not really.
Yep.
No, I don't really leave the farm since I retired. I don't really leave the farm that often.
Sometimes he doesn't even leave the bedroom.
Yeah. So I'll be out here.
I'm not going there, Susan. No. We can't go there.
No. This is where his computer. This is where his.
Oh, okay.
I'm on the computer
This is his
constantly doing stuff,
Okay.
either editing videos or watching somebody else's videos or playing a game or something. I get in here and I get memorized on doing stuff. And they say, no, it's 5 o'clock. And what the heck did they go? Oh, I was going to go out and do this, or I was going to go out and do that. And it didn't get done. So,
yeah. We kind of try to plan it out.
I got to plan things out. Like we're planning to get out of here tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to fix a water trough. So we're going to get out and pull it out and seal the bottom of it and put it back, so we can use it for the donkeys again. So
we have to plan things early because we keep getting, I think we're under our fourth or fifth heat advisory. So when it comes time, noon, 1 o'clock at the very latest, we're not outside.
Yeah.
It's too hot.
Yeah, and I don't blame you.
It's too hot. And I've got other things to do. I don't have to be outside. So we get the garden water, the animals taken care of or checked on, and any small projects we can get done in that amount of time, that's when we do it.
Hey, and I've got a few people out here. I'm co-streaming with this. I've got Rebecca's in here and Joe Fix It For You, and I saw Tiffany from Canadian Family Life, and Pat Crello, one of our Filipino friends. She's in here. Excuse me. She's in here also. So I've got 8 people here.
You've got a lot of people here. We've got quite a few from your channel. We've got some from my channel. And that's the thing about community. And that's what moving from the city and where you can spit on your neighbor, he's so close to you, to being out in the country, you actually become a lot closer with your neighbors than generally the neighbors you have sitting next door to you in the city.
Right.
Sure. Oh yeah, Chris is in here too.
This has been the YouTube has been YouTube channel has been I don't mean an eye opener, but it expanded our social.
Yeah, social life is expanded. If you call it social life, on media, but it's social life. But we do go to meetups and that's fun. I mean, that's always fun to go someplace else, something different.
Well, and there's so many people talking about the same things that you guys are talking about. And that's that caring, sharing, and community I just put up. It's bringing that community together to work together in knowledge, understanding, and just, to be there. Sometimes people just need a shoulder to cry on.
Right.
Bounce ideas off of.
The downside.
I like to bounce ideas off people.
Yes. Yeah.
And you when you started the YouTube channel, you got a lot of help.
I got a lot of help from people.
Connecting up by being on different lives and whatever. You have that click, and
that Jesse from Lazy Days Ahead helped me a lot. Mm-hmm. He helped me a lot on figuring out how to use the StreamYard and all that. And then Devil Dog, that's another community and I have enough. I go to all kinds of communities. I don't stay in one community. That's why I spread out. I figured the more people I get in contact with in different communities and stuff, the more, I can grow that way. So I have no problems going to other communities, talking to people, and Joe from State Gardener had me on and talked about fertilizer one night, and I like to bounce around, and I love meeting people. So
you like to
I just don't like to be in crowds of people.
Yeah, he's not.
I'm not
a shopper.
I'm not a shopper. I don't like to go to stadiums. I don't know. It's self-preservation is what I call it, because I always feel that if something's going to happen, it's going to happen in a crowd.
Yeah.
So if I don't stay in the crowd, I'm not in the crowd, then I don't have to worry about something happening.
Well, exactly. You take yourself out of the situation, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Right. So and I'm one of those people. I don't worry about anything I can't control.
Yeah. Yep.
So, there's no point in that.
There's no point in that. And I did move here and join the fire department, and I've been in the fire department for 14 years.
Yeah.
About 14 years, and I'm not practicing the fire department right now because I had knee surgery and I'm not 100%. So I don't want to, get until I feel like I can walk and normal again. I don't want to go out there and try to pull hoses and stuff.
And I will say though that they haven't had any big, for
before I joined the department, they said they had chimney fires all the time. They told me, we're going to have a bunch of chimney fires in the wintertime. Be prepared. I said, okay. And then once I joined, it's like they said, we haven't had a chimney fire in so long. Greg, you must be good luck, something like that. And I said, well, we have hardly had any fires. We'd have, a car accident, a car on fire type thing, that type of stuff. But or we'd have a field get on fire, but nothing. No, we had a few house fires, but not very many. So
most of the times fires can be prevented. So maybe it's finally come down to the people that aren't intelligent enough not to start the fire have been, moved away.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to say, anything bad, but I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to phrase it nicely. Yeah.
Chimney fires, though, that is, they come to find out it's people because they're burning green wood. And I think people have been educated and learned that, and don't burn green wood anymore. Then you have less chance of a chimney fire. Yes. And a lot of houses around here now have what they call hardy stoves, and they sit outside, and they're away from the house. They're 10 to 15 feet away from the house, and then they do is they heat water, and they pump water into the house to heat the houses up. They go through radiators to heat the houses up and stuff like so. There's less chimney fires because they're using the hardy stoves instead of that type thing. And one of our neighbors,
more efficient.
Yeah, well, our neighbor says to me, he called me up and said, "Hey, we have a lot of hedge on our property, and we don't have any chimneys enough here. I have a small stove in my shop to heat the shop up in the wintertime, but I don't use logs. I use limbs. I use a little stuff.
It's a small stove. Yeah,
the little stuff. Yeah, it's a small stove." And so he said, "What are you doing with all that firewood you sell out there? Because we cut firewood up and stack it outside, and we sell it to the neighbors that are a lot less than what most people are selling for, just to help them, because a lot of them use fire or wood to heat their house."
Yeah.
So when we moved here, we're type of, I don't want to say recyclers, but we were recycling stuff in California. We recycle paper, we recycle cans, we recycle plastic and glass. So,
do you remember? Did they have a commercial out? We had a commercial in San Diego, and it really hit home. And it was an Indian that climbed up the top of a mountain, and as he looked out, it was like he was standing on top of a dump.
Yeah.
And the point of it is that he was showing how the world has changed and how irresponsible we were being with our land that was given to us. And I guess that kind of hit home a little for us. And so in San Diego, we had a bin for paper, we had a bin for cans, we had a bin for trash. Well, out here they don't do it that way, but we do a lot of burning. We burn a lot of, we go through burn barrels about
once a year,
once or twice a year sometimes. And we recycle in our compost pile. For the garden and whatever, we just, and things we look at things and say, can we reuse this somehow or not? So we kind of
in San Diego, you go buy a 6-pack of Pepsi or soda, or any canned stuff. You paid for a deposit
on the can.
Yeah. So you're paying 30, 40, 50 cents. Hey, Nora, you pay 30, 40 cents, 50 cents for a deposit. Well, it was 13 cans made a pound of aluminum, and you're getting $2 a pound. So it's like, it's kind of stupid we throw money away. So we'll go ahead and recycle the cans. So we'd have a can crusher. We crash them up in the living room, the garage, and put them in a bucket. When that bucket got full, we take it down there and turn around $10, $15, turn around and buy soda back again. So it was like we just kept cycling it around. So when we came here, it's like we got these cans. We want, like, what do we do with these cans? There's nobody. They don't recycle. They don't pay for them. It's like, what the heck, So listen, we ought to just buy a trailer load and buy an empty trailer and just throw all the cans in there and take them back to California. Once a year, pay for all the fuel.
Pretty much. Although I see a lot of guys actually making kilns and actually melting it down. And then you've got something you can sell, at an exchange.
Yeah. See, that's and there's a recycle yard. I call it scrap. Actually, it's a metal yard that does buy metal feeding. But we don't haul the keep cans around that much for that problem. We got a bunch of cans and she puts them in bags and they're out there. So one of these days we'll get them taken in or something like that. But yeah.
Yep.
But anyways.
Well, you were saying when you started, you guys had cows, pigs, I think chickens as well, you were saying?
We never had pigs. I'll never have a pig on the property.
Okay.
I had pigs in the freezer because I buy a pig from a friend of mine and butcher it and put it in the freezer. But I don't have pigs on the property. We have cattle, we have goats, we have llamas, we have donkeys, we have horses, chickens, and dogs and cats.
Okay.
So is that all of them? I think I hit them all. So we have about 35 head of cattle right now, and plus we got 15 or 16 babies out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we have about 15 head of goats. We have two horses, three horses, two horses, and 5 donkeys or 6 donkeys. 5 donkeys. 5 donkeys right now. We need to sell 2 of them or give 2 of them away. Whatever.
Yep.
So and we have, I don't know, we run between 10 to 25 chickens still. It all depends on what time of year it is, because should we buy a bunch of chickens and you lose one here, you lose one there type thing, to something gets one of them.
Yeah.
So we have 5 dogs and 3 cats.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, you guys are full of livestock anyway. So what are you doing? Like, are you milking the cows, the goats, etc.? Are you
meat
making
cows.
Products?
Nope, meat.
Meat cows or meat goats.
Okay. They go. The boys go to market.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And we have sent on the cows. We do send some of the young heifers also. The calves we send to market, and we just sold 10 calves 2 months ago. About that, a couple months ago. And and we got 15 grand out of that, so it wasn't bad. The meat market's good right now.
Yeah, the goat market is not, but the meat market.
The goat market's not good, but the cow market, the beef market's good.
And the goats are meat goats also. They're
right. They're Boer Kinko goats.
Yeah.
And we originally got the goats because this place was covered in poison ivy, poison oak. It was covered in poison oak. And goats will eat poison oak.
Okay, that's something I didn't know.
And it doesn't hurt them. It doesn't affect them at all. And they eat it and it's gone. It's gone. They take it where it's not. It doesn't come back.
They take it right down to the root and they rip the root out.
Yeah. And, well, they just basically kill it off of the root.
Yeah.
And cows. We have Johnson grass here, and the cows love the Johnson grass, and that's a what's it called?
It's not invasive, but it's irritating.
It's
because it takes over my garden if I'm not careful.
In Missouri, it's considered a weed, really.
Yep.
So, but the cows love it. The cows will eat it down and they'll graze it right out too.
Mm-hmm.
So you've
got enough property to rotate, right?
Pardon me?
Yes.
You're rotating your pastures.
Yeah, we have 12. Right, we have 12 paddocks or 12 fields.
When we decided to change over from crops, because Jerry said because of the issue of the equipment and stuff, and we just knew we were ever going to have everything because.
Well, what happened when I was doing crops, I would go to school, and I'd come home at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd get on a tractor or a combine, and I'd be out there until 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Then I come home and go to get in bed. And the next morning I get up and I go back out to school again. And I said, you know what, this is getting tiring. And I went to school. I went back to school when I was 49, actually 50. I went back to school with a bunch of young adults. They were 18, 19, 20 years old, and I'm a 50-year-old. And I went back to school to learn. I was there to learn. They were there to kill time. I think sure some of them did learn, but I was there to actually get to know what I was doing on the property. So I got tired of, after I got home, I got tired of working so much and going to work at a regular job, and then coming home and cropping. And it was bad enough when I was doing it with the neighbor across the farm across the road. He would come on and say, "Hey, we gotta go plant soybean over here. We gotta go plant corn on your place." So, and I knew if he was involved in it, that he had to get a portion of it.
Yep.
So I could, no, I'll do that. I'll take care of that. I'll get this done. But he would come over. We're gonna go plant, that 25 acres of corn. And I'm going like, oh, okay. Well, then when it comes to harvest time, he's going, we're gonna harvest that 25 acres corn. Well, okay. And then he harvests it off. I always seemed like I didn't get what I thought I should have got.
Yeah.
And I understand there's expensive stuff, but I thought, I'm gonna do it myself. So I started doing it ourselves, and I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I just couldn't.
Well, you said you said to me one night, you said, been thinking about this. I have this idea and I've been thinking about this. Don't you think it'd be a lot easier to just open a gate and run some cows through it and close the gate than to, go through what we've been doing? Because you also need to have crop insurance, and that's expensive. Right. And it's like any other kind of insurance. You're paying for it. You may not need it, and you may need it, but usually you do need it. But if you have too many claims in, then of course it's going up. So I was agreeable to the cows, and we actually started out and did it a really cool way. And we had them in different paddocks behind our house that we had built. And Jerry had taken a course before he even moved out here with the USDA has an intensive grazing course, and he took that. And one of his college teachers says, Jerry, you took that class, you're entitled to their programs. You need to check that out. So the program he checked into was called Equip. And what it did was we took 80 acres.
We took the whole thing.
Well, other than what we live on. But anyway, we converted it into fields. And we paid for the perimeter, putting up fencing on the perimeter. But we had this grant from them that was in pieces. And as each piece was done, they would pay us that portion, and then we turn around and use that
it basically
money
paid for the
overall
expense of it. They didn't really, you didn't make up money off of it, but if they wanted you to hire somebody to do it, and I'm going like, I'm not hiring people to do it because it's like that's an expense I don't have.
They suggested it because
they wanted to do it ASAP, like they wanted it done like right now, like yesterday. Here's your grant, go get it done. It's like, excuse me, it's gonna. I told them, I said, when they did the thing, it's gonna take me at least 2 to 3 years to do this. Oh no, it's not gonna take you that long. And well, yeah, it is. And I said, I'm telling you, I already know how long it's gonna take. It's gonna take 2 to 3 years to do it because we had to do water lines, and we had to do tire waters out there. We had the pumps because we had wells. We had 2 wells on the property, so that was the problem. But we had to do fencing, and and we had external fencing we had to do, which was our expense. But the internal fencing was what they would pay for. So then we had to be sure we had gates, so many gates in the field, and and hot wires and all this stuff. And I already knew. I'm not stupid. I just know that it's gonna take time to do it because 3 people. We both worked full-time jobs, and my son who lives with us would do what he can by himself for the day. But pulling hot wire is a 2-person job minimum. The more people doing it, the easier. Doing the waters is more than 1 person. Type thing. So we've got videos on our channel that shows us fixing the waters, and it doesn't really show hot wires.
We weren't doing YouTube when we started this.
Yeah,
we actually kick ourselves in the butt for not. Right. But we're able to now. We have to fix a fence, or like we did. We changed a
hot wire fence.
A hot wire fence that divided 2 fields, and we made it jogged it so that the cows had shade on both sides. And we were able to show Robert doing the wire twisting on the insulators, all that kind of stuff. So. But
we got a video on that and stuff. But we've been our channel is mainly is everything we do. I mean, it's
it's your life.
It's basically our life. It's our farm life is what it is. And we shut out some of the bad things. We don't really show. We may talk about it, but we don't show it.
Right. Like our meat chickens, we didn't show it. We talked about it.
We talked about it. We didn't actually show processing them or cutting them all up and that type of stuff. We just did it and talked about it. We've had some death on here. We've lost a horse. We lost a cow. We lost a llama. That we. I missed the llamas. I knew it misses up.
No, you did.
Oh, I did. So we've talked about it, but we've then showed the result. How it happened, or why it happened, or any of that stuff. So because it's just like there's certain things you do. So we just
You
don't
don't
want to
need
show.
to share. You
Right.
don't need to share that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we say in our intro, we want to show the good, the bad, the ugly, and the pretty. You know, and not that necessarily that order, but we want to show everything. We don't want to glorify. Oh, look how wonderful it is, because it's not. It's
work.
Yeah, it's work, and it's not all fun and games. It's not all they get to play with these animals here, get to play with those animals. There's times you're maybe cuss up a storm about something, because something happened.
They're turning a calf in the middle of the night, and it's got to be done, and that's what you're doing. You're not going to
go out and get cows out of the street because somebody forgot to put a gate up, or because we had a windstorm blow someone over, and when we first started, like she said, I bought cows from a friend of mine who had I say a friend of mine, it's an acquaintance of mine, a customer of mine that had dairy cows that he had mixed with Angus. And so I bought 5 babies from him that he didn't want to bottle feed because he already had a bunch of them. And that's how we started. We started with the mix. And then I had friends.
That's a good way to do it, because it's,
it's very not cheap. That's expensive.
It's economical.
Yeah, it wasn't forking out a couple $1,000s at a time. It was, we paid $300 a calf.
Yeah,
and then your time and your nutrients to give, and
we bottle fed them. There's three heifers and 2 bulls or steers on there. We end up raising the steers up. We butchered one put in the freezer, and we sold one at market. We work in the store, and all the customers who have cows knew that I was starting to get into cows. If they had a calf that was an orphan or the mother rejected it, they would call me up and say, "Jerry, come get this calf." And I go, "What?" This calf mother doesn't want it. Come get it. So I go over and they charge me like $100.50. I pay $100.50. I take the calf, I bring the calf home, and my wife and my son would bottle feed it. They would feed it 3-4 times a day until we got raised up. Or another guy called me and said, "I've got this calf that was found in a snowbank, and that's our Trudy calf. And she had frozen ears and a frozen nose, and part of her tongue was frozen." And she goes, she's probably not gonna make it, but come get her. So I got her and brought her home, and we bottle fed her, raised her up. Now she thinks she's a dog. She thinks that
a house pet.
Yeah, she's actually dangerous. She can be very dangerous because she doesn't really realize how big she is compared to you. So you have to.
It's called a bull in a china shop, Jerry.
Yeah.
Well, our Trudy girl, we didn't know because she didn't fit in. She was behind the house or with us too much. We didn't change her out soon enough. So she didn't really get acclimated into the herd. They tolerated her, but she was always kind of like
on the edge.
Child.
Yep, always on the edge, right?
On the edge. And so one day I was out talking to my daughter, and I'm walking through the field, and I said, "I got to stop. I have to stop. I've got to get Jerry." And he decided he needed to come out and check because she was getting really big. Well, she had a baby. And we're so excited by it. Yeah. And we got to hold the baby, and she didn't care. I don't know how she
actually pushed the calf to us.
Yeah.
Like here, look at this, and it was a little female, so we named her T2. But she's not her mom by any means. She doesn't want to have anything to do with us. She'd rather go the other way. Her mom,
she's not a human, she's a cow, you know.
I can go out in the field and sit. I bet you if I sat down on the ground, that Trudy would come and lay in my lap. I'm afraid of that because that's why I have to be careful, because I've been out there walking along, and she was walking behind me, and she saw Susan and wanted to go to Susan, so she ran by me so fast she almost knocked me down. And if she could break a leg or something, and it's like, whoa, because she doesn't know how big she is. But I can lay on her, I can hug on her, I can grab her by her head, and she just looks at me, I can do the same thing with her as you do with a dog. You shake them around, whatever, and she, okay, whatever, I don't care. So I'm sure that I went out there and sat down on the ground, she would probably lay in my lap. And I don't want to try that. Okay. I don't want to try that because she's probably at least
that 9. Would make such good YouTube.
Yeah. Calling an ambulance that come pick me up because I got 2 broken legs.
Yeah,
So,
pretty much. Eh?
Yeah. So we got a pretty good herd. We're pretty,
yeah, our herd's good herd.
we're
And
changing our
Yep.
bulls this year. We're gonna
they're
get a new one next month, and Big
that
Jerry's,
Big Jerry's going away.
yep, going away.
So we named him Big Jerry because we started off our alphabet when we had our babies, cows, you know, A, B, C, D. Well, he was born on my birthday, and we were at the letter 10. So he became, you know, Jerry, because it was, you know, it was a bull, you know. So we kept him and just used him as our breeding bull. So for our herd, well, he's been there out there for 5 years total now, and so it's time to move him on to another, get another one. So we're changing
because we couldn't keep any of the girls.
Yeah.
Because we don't do
Can't
line
breed
breed.
back, right?
We won't do that. So this year we'll be able to keep some of his girls because you know, he's going, and the new bull obviously is not related to him. So, and he's a red bull, so it'll be interesting in color to see what kind of babies he throws.
Yeah, he's a beef master bull, so he's a bigger, meatier bull. So all the babies he throws will be more meatier also.
Yeah.
So they'll actually be better beef cows.
Well, yeah, exactly, because you're selling by weight, really.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but you know, and then the goats are still here because we just can't get rid of them. We don't want to get rid of all of them. So, you know, they're and we're just playing. We're retired, so we're kind of playing with colors and stuff. You know, we're doing stuff. Matter of fact, I had my neighbors call me today, and he says, how come you're having calves in May and June and in July and stuff? I said, because that's when they're born. You know, and he goes, no. He goes, how come you aren't having, you know, spring calves and fall babies? And I said, I don't control when the mama comes in heat and she gets pregnant. You know, they're out there. He goes, well, where's your bull at? I said, my bull's out with the cows.
Yeah, where he's supposed to be.
You take your bull out and you know, and cycle all your girls, you know, cows at the same time, and you just put your bull in for 2 weeks. I said, that's work. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm retired. And I said, I'm not looking for more work. I'm looking to just let them do their thing. And, you know, it's okay. Plus, I know from going to school, we talked about this a lot of times. If a bull is in the herd with the cows are content. They don't go through fences. They don't go looking for a bull. You know, they're content. And so if you put a bull in another paddock on the property and he wants to go see the cows, he's going to go through fences. And if the girls want to get to the bull, they're going to go through fences. Well, we don't have any fence problems like that. I mean, we have a cow every once in a while jump a fence, or a calf would jump a 4-foot fence because she wants to be someplace else. But we don't have bulls tearing fences up. We don't have cows ripping through fences, you know, and like I said, doing that, it sounds to me it's going to end up being more work. I already know it's going to be.
And our herd is close enough to the house in a sense. I mean, it's from the south end of the property to the north end. It's 3/4 of a mile, but you're in different places. We have a UTV. It's not a big deal. And I know when the babies are born this year to know when they could be happening next year.
Approximately.
Like we've got like 5 more cows.
And we go out there and I can read a cow. I can look at them and say, that's how I knew Trudy was close. And well, she's going to be, you know, she starts bagging up, you know, okay, she's getting close. She's got probably within 30 days. And then you look at them and they start to elongate and stuff. You go, okay, well, she's probably getting ready. And then if you really watch them, you can see the baby moves down and, you know, in the cow's high corners. You go, hey, I can almost guarantee within a 3 or 4 day period when the cow is going to actually give birth. You know, so
two old farmers would just be talking farmers in the coffee shop, you know.
He's taught me that stuff, I go out there and check. I'm the morning person.
Yeah, I don't get up till like 8 o'clock usually.
But I'm outside I'm the outside morning person. He doesn't get motivated.
And I'm able to stay up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning with no problem. You know, so she crashes at 8:30, 9 o'clock. You know, and there's lots of times. By the night, my son and I were out at 1 o'clock in the morning because I heard something outside that didn't sound right. you know, and I say, hey, let's go. We jump in the mule and we're driving around checking things to be sure everywhere's supposed to be where they're supposed to be, you know? So, you know, I had a gunshot that sounded like it was too close to property. And I'm going like, why is there a gunshot at 1:00 in the morning? And where is that at? You know?
Yeah.
So I went out and investigated it. So, you know, I didn't know if there's a poacher on the property or, you know, I'm not sure. Never did figure out where it was, but it was a definite gunshot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I usually go out and check everybody in the morning and see what's going on. And I know, you know, I've got my ledger and I'm checking, you know, against moms having babies and against last year. And I let him know when they had them last year so we can kind of calculate, you know, so we knew we just have babies all year long. I mean, and they'll just, you know, rotate through. I don't think we have anything old enough to go in the fall. We may wait and sell, you know, babies in the
spring. You know, we have some we could sell, or, you know, I don't know if we will or not, but I got a lot of people. I've got actually 3 people off of YouTube has contacted me wanting to buy half a cow, you know, and asked me what the prices would be. And I said, you know, I'm not trying to make a bunch of money, but I'm trying to sell them for what I think I could get from if I send them to the market.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care about help. I don't mind helping people out. You know, I don't mind helping somebody get a half a steer in their, you know, a half a side of beef in their freezer. And, you know, but they have to be willing to come get the meat because I'm not going to deliver it.
Yeah.
You know, and they have to have to go to the guy that I take mine to butcher them. You know, and my guy is really good and he charges $60, 60 cents a pound hanging weight.
Yeah.
Which is very cheap, and it's all vacuum sealed. Economical.
Oh, nice.
Economical, and it is vacuum sealed, so you can see it, and he does a good job. And we've never had any problem with anything. So, I mean, if someone wants to come and buy a live cow or, you know, or a live calf, I'll sell them a live calf. But they're going to pay going market price for them.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
But I calculated out, like, I've got a couple of people that said they want a half. And I said, you know, you'll pay for the butcher price, which is 60 cents a pound hanging weight.
Yeah.
And I'll charge you $4 a pound for the meat that you get. So if they get a half a steer and they get 250 pounds, they'll pay me $1,000 plus the butcher price or whatever the hanging weight was. It most likely it's gonna be less than 250 pounds. It usually runs like 230, doesn't it? Last one we did was like 230 actual, and you know, you don't need to pay me for the hanging weight because you're gonna lose bone. And to me, it's like, you know, unless you want soup bones, you don't use to pay me. And so I come up with $4, and I think, well, I could go down on that. So the max amount I'm having is $4 a pound, and then I might go down depending on what the actual market is calling for. Where you go to a store, you're going to pay $4 a pound for hamburger, and you're going to pay $15 a pound for steaks.
Yeah.
You know, so in the long run, if you would calculate how much meat you actually get, you're going to be saving yourself probably going to cost you about half as much as it normally would.
Well, and that's like Rory Gardner here is saying, and that's premium meat as well. Like that's grass-fed, grass-raised, not chemicals, not
no hormones.
Nope.
Yeah,
that's
hormones. Quality.
Yeah, and I tell people
quality.
that, you know, you're going to have to wait until the calf comes up because I'm not going to force it to put hormones in it to make it grow faster because I'm not in that part. I don't want to do that part. You know, I know that when I sell the calves and I put them on, a guy comes here, picks them up for me, put them on his trailer. When they hit the stockyard, the first thing they do to them is they put hormones in them.
Yeah.
Very first thing they put them a hormone in the ear, you know, and then they start gaining weight. Well, we don't do any hormones. So it's, you know, it's not going to be that. So, I mean, you know, I do medicate them if they need medication, but I'm not going to sell those. And I do worm them every year. And I use a chemical thing called long range, which is basically it's a shot, and I tell you what, the best thing in the world. You know, one time a year, and they're good for the whole year. Now it doesn't get rid of all the flies, but it gets rid of the parasites.
Right.
You know, but to me it's the best thing since the napkin. You don't have to pour chemical on them, and you know it's a mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we
Well, do
answering
you
those
shoot
questions,
like
or are
okay,
we-
say you're gonna sell a calf this fall? Would you do that worms a year in advance and
Yes,
then sell the calf at the end of when the chemicals would have
right.
been out of it?
Yes,
Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just did it. We did it.
we did it in April?
We did it in April,
Okay. Yeah.
In the
and
springtime.
I did it in the spring, and we then we worked the cows again just a couple weeks ago because I had to tag. I had a bunch of calves that didn't have tags on them, and we needed to tag them so we can see whose is whose. You know, so I have, and the reason why I have a friend of mine actually used to be my manager at the store. You know, and you got to think this is a small community, so everybody knows everybody's friends type thing, you know. And his dad had come over and say, "Hey, I got a deal." Huh?
It was a couple years.
Yeah, a
ago.
couple years ago. I got a deal for you, and I already had like I don't know 4 or 5 cows, you know, that time. And in my bull, he goes, "I had a deal for you." I said, "What's that?" He goes, "I'm going to bring over 5 cows that are pregnant." They're gonna have you take care of them. They're like your cows. You medicate them. You take care of them. If they die, they die. You know, you take care of them. I said okay. And then when every baby is born, you and I will split the baby. We sell the baby. We'll split the baby.
Right.
The money wise. I said okay. And he said now if there's a female that you want out of the babies, then you just pay me, you know, half of what the half would be, and then you
Market value. Yeah.
And I said, okay. So I said, well, that'll work. So he brought over these 5, and one of them was she's a Charolais, and she's a big cow, and she was nuttier than a fruitcake, and she's not at that. She's calmed down quite a bit. She was nuttier than a fruitcake. She was jumping fences, hot wire fences around here like you wouldn't believe, and she's all of 1,300 pounds. She's a big cow.
Yeah.
And she was jumping fences, and I'm going, and they go, well, we'll just catch her and take her off, and we'll take her to the market. And I said, no, I'll deal with her. I can deal with her. So we got her all crowded up, calmed down, you know, and she settled down, and she had a white baby, and we decided we want to keep that one. So we kept that one. We named it Ursula, and then she had a black baby, right? Then she had a black baby, and it was a bull calf, so we sold it. But we just worked out the money situation with them on what it was, and you know, so that's how we expanded our herd.
And then he brought 3 more.
And then he brought 3. I said, hey, you know, do you have one more you can bring? And he said, why? I said, well, because it's easier to cut in half 6 calves than it is cut in half 5 calves.
Yeah, exactly.
He looked at me.
Good at math.
He looked at me. He goes, oh yeah, you're right. He goes, how about I bring you 3 more? I said, that's fine. Bring me 3 more.
We still have those 8.
So we still have those 8 on here.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so and they're getting up there, and we've had 4 or 5 babies from them in the last 5 years, and you know, we still have the white ones out there. She's not nearly as psycho as she was when she came here. So and my cows are they're very docile. You know, they talk to you. I talk to them. My bull will come up and he'll take his nose, and he'll do a nose to fist bump. You know, and you know he'll eat food right out of my hands. He'll eat grain cubes right out of my hands, and I don't trust him because he's a bull. I respect him, but I don't fear him. You know, and my son and my wife, they don't fear him either, but they don't. My son doesn't respect him as much as I think he should. You know, I don't turn my back on the bull. I know where he's at all times. Robert, my son, will go out there, and he's out there doing whatever. He has no clue where that bull is. You know, if that bull's right behind him, if that bull's underneath him, he just does his thing, and it's like, get the heck out of the way, move out of the way. You know, and he doesn't. To me, it's like, dude, watch what you're doing, because you know, one swing of his head, and you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
You know, but he hasn't been hurt, so he hasn't. You know, he doesn't respect it yet. So it may take him getting hurt one time before he'll start. Okay, I need to start watching myself. Then stepping on your foot will make you respect him really quick.
Oh yes, I've had enough cows and horses step on my old cowboy boots, and you're going, get off. Yeah.
Have we answered all the questions that you have, or did we take over the conversation?
Well, you were meant to take over the conversation. that's the thing about conversations in Ken's Cafe. It is just that. It's a conversation. We want what I'm curious about from people is, where did you get started? Where do you come from? What have you done? What worked? What didn't work? And you guys have talked about all the things that you've done and a lot of what's worked and hasn't worked.
Yeah. Well, I learned from other people's mistakes.
Yes.
You know, I pay attention. My friend who's lived here for a while, they live here, and there's been tornadoes through here, and they've lost the power, and oh yeah, we lost the power for 3 days, and we had power lines down. We had to go fix power lines and stuff like that. And I keep thinking, there's how many times you lose power before you get a generator? And
Duh.
so the first thing we did, we got here, I got an online generator. What?
When we got here in the fall, and then we bought a mobile home and brought it over and put it on the property. And the week that everything got set up, and we had Dish coming out to hook up the TV and all that, and my son was all excited and all that kind of stuff. We had a storm come in, and I was temping in a place up in Joplin, so I had like a 30-minute drive. So I thought Friday night, Kentucky Fried Chicken, we're gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, in this travel trailer that was 26 foot long,
we're staying in our travel trailer.
It was
with
3 adults
and 6 dogs.
6 dogs and 3
cats,
unfriendly cats that were kept in cat carriers.
Mm-hmm.
So we're able to get into this mobile home, and they did all this stuff while I was gone at work. I got Kentucky Fried Chicken. I came home. We were sitting there eating in the living room. We had the TV going.
We had no couch yet either. We were sitting on buckets.
We were sitting on buckets or whatever. And it had started to storm, and they actually let us leave early at 3 instead of 5, so people could get home. And it was starting to do this big rain.
Big ice storm.
Yeah.
Ice storm 07.
Right. So that was January. So as we're sitting there, we hear this crack. We're like, oh crap, what is that? Well, the ice had already gotten enough to where it broke off branches, and branches were breaking all over.
All of the property. You get it snapping all over the place.
So we lost power. We had lost our power. And we didn't know until after the fact, because I went back to work. We moved back into the travel trailer. We still didn't have, because we didn't have power. He went out and bought an online generator, and we got hooked up with that. So we've never had that.
But I had 2 generators that we had already, 5,000 portable ones, because we used to do gold prospecting. We were in San Diego.
Okay, cool.
And we would take the generators out, and we'd charge our batteries and stuff, and run our, to run the air conditioner or whatever out in the desert where we do go prospecting. So I thought, this ain't gonna last that long. So we just go back to the trailer tonight, sleep in the trailer tonight, where we had heat and everything else. Well, come to find out that
if you don't, it's your responsibility as the resident to call the electric company and tell them you have no power. They have no idea who has it and who doesn't without those phone calls. And we didn't know that until I got back to work, and it was like maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. People were still talking about not having power and getting power. I said, well, how are you getting power? Because we're still in this jerry rig deal that he set up. Have one generator run the heater, turn it off. The other generator comes on with the water. We wash dishes, we take showers.
Yeah, we moved back in the house the next day. I was switching wires around, flipping breakers and stuff, because I know enough electricity to keep me out of trouble. I'm not an electrician, but I know enough.
So do I. Yeah,
I do what they call farm electricity. I can figure it out. I fixed up the generator so they were running. We could heat the water up in the hot water tank, because it's a electric hot water tank, and the pump could be on to pump the water in, so we could take a shower. And so then I flipped that hot water tank off, and I turned on lights in the house. I was constantly flipping breakers.
Not overdrawing. Yeah.
Well, I found out that we had to call in, so I called in, and we got on the list, and I think it was like 5 days later,
No, we were out for almost 12 days.
We were out for almost total of 12 days.
11 and a half days we were out of power.
Well,
But it was like that all over because everybody was had the same thing. It was a huge ice storm.
Yeah.
You know? So, but the farther out you are,
the longer
your list is going to be before you get, because they're taking care of the city area and then they spread out from there, So,
yeah.
But,
high priority gets done first,
So we went out.
So I went out and bought a generator, a Generac generator, and I had him put it in, got it all hooked up, got everything hooked up.
We have a separate propane tank.
It runs off propane. It's a separate tank altogether. That we had 300. It's a 315 gallon tank, and I had 275 gallons put in originally, and that was almost 20 years ago. And I've only had 60 gallons I've added to it in the 20 years.
That's
and it comes on. It comes on
because it comes on in
every Friday it comes on, and there's a maintenance run.
Yeah.
And if you don't hear it come on Friday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, then we got to check it if I was going on with generators. They didn't come on. It comes on every Friday, and we have had power. Hey Jan, we have gone without power a couple times. During the 08 tornado that went through, was it 08? The 08 tornado came through just north of us here. I was just at the end of our property because it tore up some of our barn. They were out of power at that time, but excuse me, we were the only house around that had lights on. And I had people come and go, how come you got lights? I said, I got online generators. Well, can I charge my batteries here? And can I charge my phone batteries? Or can I charge my screw gun batteries? And I said, sure, So we put out extension cord. We had people plug in extension cords to charge the stuff up, But it was funny because you go out here at night, and you see lights normally. Yeah. But then you go out and it was pitch black everywhere but here.
We have,
and then you look up and you see lights.
Yeah.
Well, you have street lights in cities. We have what they call security lights that come on with they're like solar
motion lights.
And so if there's, or do they have electricity to them?
Yeah, there's electricity.
Okay, so we didn't even have our security lights. We just had what we had in the house.
There are sulfur lights.
Yeah, sulfur.
Okay, yeah.
And so they come on with a yellow glow, so you can see outside. But
it's weird.
It was without power though; those don't come on because they run off the actual power. But the generator is so nice because it comes on. If we lose power, it comes on 10 seconds after our power's off. Everything turns back on. You have to start the computer back up. But everything else comes on, and then when you get power back, you never even know it because everything is clicked. So it just changes right over, and you never even see a glitch on the computers or TV or nothing. All of a sudden, you know, hey, the generator's not running no more. And say, you just all of a sudden notice that the generator's not running, or you hear it go boo, you go, hey, we're back on regular power.
Yeah.
So that's one of the smartest things I think I did when I moved here is buy that generator.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And we have it serviced.
Yeah, I have a service once a year or every other year. So they come in when they know when to come in. They don't come in like every year like they should. But I just it was been 2 years ago, and the guy just came in about less than 3 weeks ago, and he came and serviced it. Mm-hmm. So they come in, change the plugs, change the oil, be sure everything's all hunky dory, and they
it's probably because everything's computerized. They probably know how many hours it's got where they need to change the oil.
Yeah.
Well, they don't know. It's not hooked up to that type of thing. They have to actually go out and look at it. But I had an hour meter on it, but for some reason the hour meter stopped working, and I don't think
when we had the lightning bolt hit the house.
It may have been, yeah. I don't know. We've been hit by lightning too. Right across the street, they hit lightning, and it fried our dish box and our washing machine,
computer,
and the computer.
Yeah. And the generator.
The generator had a fault going to it. They had to come out here and fix something in the generator.
Yeah. Well, that much power going through, it kicks everything. Yeah. A lot of people. Have you put in one of those whole house breakers now?
Oh yeah, that was automatic. Okay. That's an automatic nice check. When you buy the generator, that came automatically. It's in the house. It's in the bedroom here where our breaker box is. It's hooked to the breaker box. So if you're sitting here, you can hear the power goes. You hear this big thunk, and it switches over. When power, of course, when it's out, everything's dead in, and you're just sitting here. You hear a big old thunk, and it comes on, and the generator fires up, and you pat power. But when the power comes back on, you hear this thunk. It goes back on. Yeah. You never see even not even a little flicker for the lights.
Yeah,
And
but no, I'm talking. They have now what's called a whole house surge protector. So every single line in your house is actually protected. If you have a power surge come in, it takes that out. It never goes into your box, so it can't affect the stove, the microwave, computers, etc. Anything electronic. Yeah,
ours jumped from the one washing machine to the dryer, and you can actually see the arc on it. And the box had enough about it. And I'm not sure about the generator, how it got the generator, but it didn't go through the box. It jumped through because our house wasn't grounded correctly.
Okay.
And now the house is grounded correctly, so we won't have that problem anymore. But it wasn't. And I had a guy come out and say, "Hey, what's happening?" He said, "Well, where's your ground house? The ground for the house." I said, "What are you talking about? The house is grounded through the wires in the power lines." He goes, "No,
okay."
He goes, "Don't you have a ground rod for the house itself?" And I went like, "No." Well, we need to fix that. So we got a ground rod
for my house and one for my garage.
Yeah, so we had no. I've got that in the shop, and because I got my hot wire fences hooked up out the shop, so it's got the ground out there. But we didn't know when we had the house set up, and the electrician came in and hooked the generator. He never said anything about a ground wire to the house. So, live and learn. Yeah, live and learn. But I said I watch my friends do things, and I thought, how come you don't have this? And how come you running wires above ground? I run all my electrical wires underground.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to worry about a tree limb breaking it or something like that. And I asked him, I said, why don't you, you got trees and you got your electrical wires running from pole to pole to your shop and stuff. Why? Well, it's easy that way. I said, but wouldn't it be easier just to have a trench dug? And he says, well, Jerry, my place has rock. He goes, I'm not like you. We don't have no rock here. Our ground is completely soil. It's glacier left soil, and there's no rock in it until you get down 5 feet. So if we ever find a little rock, and I mean, we found a couple like this, we pick it up and we bring it to the house and we set it next to the porch. And I've had people come here and say, how come you got these rocks out here? I said, those are the ones we found on our property. And they look at me and go, what are you talking about? He goes, we got rock all over us. I said, we don't. You can pick a spot out here and dig all you want. There's no rock out there.
You got lucky.
It's a curse and a blessing. Because when it rains, it's soft and mucky and everything here. But it does do good on crops. Hey, Judge, it does do really good on the crops and stuff. So I mean, the grass grows and but it can be muddy at times also.
Well, up here we don't have we have 4 seasons, but in spring and fall it's mud season. We go through, because the frost comes out of the ground and just everything is mud.
And you're in Alaska?
No, Alberta, Canada. Yeah.
Okay, Canada. Yeah, I meant that. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, so that's basically
that's us.
That's us in a nutshell. An
hour later.
Oh yeah, only an hour and 12 minutes. That's a short story.
Yeah.
We got lots of them.
Well, we've made a lot of good friends on here, like Jan, and from Simple Jan. She's a good friend, and Tiffany up in Canadian Family Life. She's a good friend. We talk back and forth on Facebook and but I don't really talk on YouTube very much, but we talk on Facebook, and Jan and I talk almost every day on the phone.
Yeah.
So I'm happy where I started the YouTube channel. I started it for different reasons than most people started for, but and my priorities has changed a little bit. But
yeah. Well, I really appreciate
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate your guys coming on and sharing your story because you've done things, you've had life experiences where other people can learn, just like Jerry, you say you learn from other people's mistakes.
Right.
And I tell people to listen to many voices, and I appreciate your guys coming on and being voices today.
No,
thank you for asking us.
In that thing, like when I was talking on Joe's Garden State Gardener, we talked about fertilizer. I always tell everybody, don't do exactly what I say. Go out and research it. Research your own stuff Be sure what you're doing is right in your area. Do not assume what somebody tells you is right. You know, because it could be right for them, but it may not be right for you. So, you know, I even on stuff right now, we do stuff. We worked on stuff. I said this was what worked for us. Doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So,
well, you look at your soil compared to the rocks next door. It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
So, are you guys have any meetups coming up, or any shows you want to announce that you've got coming up?
Well, we haven't really decided. We were thinking about going to the Kentucky picnic.
It's a one-day.
It's a one-day thing. It's a 6-hour drive for us, and we've been talking about it. And I don't know if we're going to do it or not. We haven't decided exactly yet if we're going to do it. The next meetup we're doing is Pinecone
Fest in Mount Vernon, Texas. We went last year. It's
cool.
It was a lovely place.
Yeah, it's a pretty place. I could move to that part of Texas.
He can move to that part of Texas. And so we're going to go again this year.
Fantastic.
And we found out about a homesteading expo that's at the end of September in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
that we might go over
McAllister, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about going to that.
Yeah. We're definitely going to Pinecone Fest. But as far as Kentucky and the other one, we're not sure yet.
Yeah, it all depends on finances and what we got going around here. Because we're still working on a koi pond that I started 2 years ago.
We need to finish
I need to get it, finish it, get it done, and we got it all dug out. And so it's just a matter of getting down in the hole and putting carpet in there, and then putting the plastic in there, and a little here and there type stuff. And I started before I have a knee surgery, but I haven't finished it. But we got to get it done because my koi are on a porch pond right now, and we need to get them off the porch because I don't know
we don't know what it looks like.
We don't know what the wood looks like underneath it. So
we may be replacing part of our porch.
I might have to do a porch.
Yeah.
So,
but we've got several lined up that we're going to do next spring, and we usually do them like April, May, and June. There's several of them going on that we've done the last couple of years that we have enjoyed. So we'll go back and do those.
And we are going on a cruise a year from. In fact, it's a year from tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to
Alaska cruise with Scott from Rambo the Browns and Jesse and Lisa. And I thought I saw Jesse and Lisa in here earlier. Maybe I didn't, but I thought I did.
Mike Fowler from
Mike Fowler from Farm, and
there's quite a few.
There's 40 different channels going as far as I know right now, or 40 different cabins. Way. I think Joey and Ginger are going, aren't they? I think they're going too.
But Grayson Fire's going.
They're going. So there's quite a few people going, but that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be we're calling it our anniversary honeymoon because we never had a honeymoon, and so we're gonna go on that, and we'll be 41 years. We're gonna go down that for our honeymoon anniversary type gift to each other. It's a once in a lifetime cruise. I mean, we'll never do it twice.
Yeah.
So and I've been.
You want to have that memorable experience, and attaching it to your anniversary is a wonderful thing.
And I've been to Alaska because I had friends that were in our gold club that had claims in Alaska, and I went up there and worked on a gold claim for 18 days, and it was by myself, and it was a wonderful vacation by myself.
Well, I can up you on that because I lived in Alaska.
Yeah, she lived in Alaska.
My dad was stationed on Kodiak Island, and my youngest sister was born in Alaska, and I started kindergarten in Alaska. So
now hold on, from Alaska to California. Now that's culture shock.
That was
and military. Her dad was military.
He was Navy. Yeah. So but I don't have the memories like Jerry does.
Yeah, it was. He has
adult memories. I got kid stuff.
And we're still on 7 claims in our club from California. We're still on several claims there, and we sign paperwork every year so we can, and we still have all the equipment to do gold prospecting or decide when to go back out and do it. Unfortunately, there's no gold here in Missouri, unless you want to count cows as gold, but you don't have to dig them.
It's the rabbits.
Oh, right.
If you have rabbits on your property.
Oh yeah, we had a farmer friend of mine. I'll make the short quest thing here. A farmer friend of mine came over my house one time, and we had wild rabbits running around the property. Wild rabbits. He looked at me and says, "You're a rich man." And I looked at him saying, like, "You don't know my bills, you know." He said, "We're still paying on this property. Where a lot of people in the area, the property's been given to them from family members or they're century farms and stuff. They've been handed down, inherited stuff." And I looked at him and said, "No, I'm not a rich man." He goes, "Oh yeah." He goes, "You're a rich man." I looked at him and said, "Well, why do you say that?" He says, "Jerry," he says, a poor man that has rabbits wouldn't have rabbits." I kind of looked at him and said, "These are wild rabbits." He said, "Exactly. If a poor man would eat those rabbits, a rich man didn't have to worry about eating them."
Yep, that's very true.
I said, "Oh, okay." So we have a lot of rabbits running around the property. I mean, sometimes in wintertime you gotta be careful you don't get stepped on by them and run over by them. They're all over the place, but
yeah.
So we're rich.
So we're rich in that way, but and we're rich in having each other, and we have our health.
We do.
We're both in above 67, 65. We're both about 65 years old.
Yeah.
But we have people all the time tell us that you guys don't look like you're retirement age. So I say, well, that's because you work on the farm. Work at the farm work can keep you young.
And that's very true, because when we moved out here, I had hepatitis C from a stupid mistake, and I went through a treatment program. No, I didn't. I tried to go through a treatment program in San Diego and it didn't work. But anyway, I moved out here and I was out and about and I was working, but we had things to do. We had animals to take care of, had my lab work done one year. And the doctor says, "What are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "You've got great numbers. You've got great numbers. They've so improved." He said, "Keep doing what you're doing." So, that's my bonus for moving out here to Missouri. I got rid of it and got it taken care of, and it's gone. And I really haven't had any health issues.
Nope.
My mother is very healthy, had her appendicitis when she was in her 80s and had it taken out. And that's the most major thing she had, except for having 4 kids.
And her mother's now 94? 94.
Still.
Yeah. And Susan's grandfather lived to be 96.
So longevity.
The longevity in her family.
Anyway,
I'm stuck with my wife. Her dad just passed here. He was 98.
Oh.
Longevity in her family.
Yeah, so I'm stuck with her for a lot of years. I've already been with her for over 30. So now I got another 30, 40 to go.
Hey, wait till you get to 40.
Yeah. If I could put up with her for 40 years, I guess we can do it for the rest of our lives.
That's basically what I feel. It's not worth it now. Getting divorced, it's too much of a hassle.
Find a hobby. Find something that makes you happy. Yep. Chit chat in the morning, at night, at dinner, and that's you'll be fine.
Yep.
Well, we still hold hands when we walk down the street, and
nice.
We blow kisses at each other, but most people go, "Oh, that's so sweet." We go, "Oh, sweetheart, that's called kiss off." Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we have both really good senses of humor. Like, she's up in her past 70 years old now, so she's a senior. I've got a little ways to go. She married a younger man.
Oh, so you married a cougar, huh?
Yep. And
I married a cougar also.
Well, you said Purdy. You had to talk about Purdy on the farm. Well, there's your Purdy.
Yep. Yeah.
That's the smart way to go, to have a cougar, because they don't have
happy life, happy wife.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Well, guys, I think we're gonna shut it off there, or else we're gonna end up talking all day. And Susan, you got a program you were watching. You got to go back to. So
yeah, and I got to run down and see my pump guy fix our northern pump and see that's all.
Yep.
Back up the hunky dory. So.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Amazing, and I thank you so much for coming.
Well, thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. We had
you bet.
Thank you.
And everybody in chat. Oh, hold on. The wife is coming down. Hold on. What?
I am not in my 70s. I'm 69.
Oh, she's 69, she says.
Oh, 69. Okay. Well, also we go live on Mondays at 5:45 Central Time.
Okay.
So check out our lives on Monday afternoons. Where we do live every Monday.
And a giveaway.
And we're doing a giveaway on March.
Sweet.
September. what is it, September?
September 30th, we're
30th.
doing a giveaway for
Our 1 year
anniversary for live.
doing lives. And she's going to give 12 items away. So, if you guys are not doing anything Monday at 5:45, come on in.
Fantastic. For us on our channel, we've got Gardner Scott on Monday, 2:00 Pacific, 3:00 Mountain, 4:00 Central. So I think that's an hour before you guys start.
An hour and 45 minutes where we are. Yep.
Yeah, so you guys can come and check out the first part of Gardner Scott on Monday.
Okay.
Awesome.
And that's on this channel?
It's all the channel is called It's All About the Biology. The podcast itself is The Soil Matters.
Okay.
I've got different podcasts. We got Conversations in Ken's Cafe, The Soil Matters, Gardens the Untold Story. That's with I co-host with Andy Lopez, the Invisible Gardener. Guy that's been doing organic gardening since the 70s, written like 20 books. Amazingly knowledgeable man when it comes to gardening.
Wow.
So we got a lot of action on the network. But yeah, just go to our network, subscribe, guys, and there's some scientific content. We've got some of the leading experts in biology, water, etc., that come onto our channel on a regular basis, so we can keep up with the cutting edge stuff that most people don't have a clue actually exists out there. So
yep.
Anyway, guys, take care. We'll see you guys on Monday on The Soil Matters.
Okay, thank
Bye-bye.
you so much. Good night.